the holidays are here, and they say change can be as good as a holiday. How would you feel about a bit of change? It's possible that it might leave a bad taste in your mouth. But change can happen whether we like it or not. And although that first mouthful can sometimes be hard to swallow, one day you're going to taste that change, and you're going to find out. That's something different.
Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories.
If you've been a gamer for a while now, you probably have locked away a memory of your favourite Christmas. Maybe you got a new game you've been waiting for, or a game you weren't expecting. But most likely, the memory that sticks with you and doesn't fade to yellow like the plastic on your old controllers, but rather a lovely rose-tinted red, is a time you got a new console.
Da, 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 making our Christmas memories.
Those video game consoles, they were the king of video game Christmas. Each one had an experience that felt drastically different from what the last iteration was. As we move into this modern era of gaming, it appears it no longer takes a full generation for a king to be overthrown by a new king, one with slightly more power. Now, I can't help but wonder, with that graphics gap getting smaller, mid-generation consoles, and some other factors, are we beginning to lose some of the epic wonderment that is a console Christmas? I remember every time that we had a console Christmas, which was actually a console Christmas, plus console birthday, plus chores around the house, plus begging, plus tears, but that excitement of just tearing into that new box, a new console box, as a child, as young Eric, blew my face off. However, I do believe that nostalgia plays a huge role in the way that I look back at this. It's hard for me to appreciate the grandness of opening up some Fortnite V-Bucks, but that's because I'm looking at this all very one-dimensional. To tell you the truth, while I will always shout about how great the 90s were back then, there's actually some really big benefits that naughty gamers and beyond will get. Not actual naughty gamers, they get coal from Santa. If you were to pop on down to that local game store of yours, the biggest perk that this generation benefits from would be staring you right back in the face. Accessories, apparel, merchandise, toys, figures, clothes, and so much more. Let's say that you were in love with the Zelda series in the past. Well, back then, you basically only had one link to it, and that was the game. But today, if you're a Zelda fan and not 900 Korok deep into Breath of the Wild already, you better be reading the guidebook, or the history of Hyrule, or maybe you're enjoying the amiibo or the statue. Perhaps you're taking a break with some playing cards, or ironing out those perlers. And if that hasn't already put the hair on your Zelda fanboy chest, then you better go grab a classic mini console and play the original while donning a shirt that exclaims, "It's dangerous to go alone." Take this! We are spoiled by a catalogue of contagious collector's items. Never has such a staggering amount of goods been right at the fingertips of any consumer. And this is undoubtedly a good thing if you wanted to stuff the stocking of a special Nintendo lass. But with the saturation of products, free-to-play games, and the rise of digital, is it possible that physical games and consoles are getting lost to the back of the tree where the light doesn't touch? In the past, if I didn't tell my uninformed mum exactly what to get from the game store, a trip down there could almost be like travelling to another dimension for her. She needed to buy a great game. She needed to spend a huge wad of cash on that game since sales and indie games, things like that, they just didn't exist. And if they were my parents, they'd end up going down to the game shop, being told that, yeah, Super Ghouls and Ghosts is a great game for a 5-year-old, and they were right. If we flip back to today, it's great that my parents, they would have a chance to read reviews or even just buy a gift card for their console of choice. Plus, that same money that used to buy you one game can now actually fill your pockets with multiple indies or even sale items. However, that high definition grass isn't always greener. It's not necessary at all. As today's games, they're lucky to even come with a slip of paper telling you not to choke. And personally, I find getting a gift card just rips whatever fun you had out of opening a present and sends it to that same dimension that my parents visited. One full of confusion and teenagers. Part of me wants to say there's almost a lost joy to cracking open a Christmas console box. Like jumping into a new car. Take it in, take the smell in. But as with most things that happened over a year ago, I'm pretty sure that I'm just cranking up that Guardian Blur. Hold on a second here. With the lens that I look at the past with. If I'm being honest here, the right games, they're just packing more of a punch than ever before. And beyond the amazement of a console, that subtle new toy smell of a game, the quick fix entertainment of a manual, beyond all of that, it's still that joy that just all things video games brings to us gamers on Christmas and just stuffs it into our stockings. And then we just eat it up and it's yummy and I don't know where I'm going. That mighty console king and his throne, they're not gone, but the times, they are a-changin'. And as the video game industry gets bigger and bigger, we pave the way for new forms of entertainment and gifts to crowd the Christmas trees of us gamers. We can sit back and individually decide if it's for the better or for the worse, but I'm not going to throw such a label on Gamer Christmas, because most of the time change isn't better or worse, it's just something different.
Yeah, I didn't get that in.
And everyone was like,
Let's go, Mario! Yippee-da! Whee!
Pow! Kablamo! Kablamo! Crush!
Yada!
I'm almost smiling at the end because I'm getting a little awkward on camera.